Hey y'all, my name is Nat. I hope you're having a terrific day today, and for this video, we are going to be doing a 𝗖cie that series reading vlog. Alright, so before we get into anything bookish, make sure to hit like and subscribe down below, as well as tell me in the comments what is the last series that you finished. So yes, I had to partake in 𝗖cie that series when I saw they were doing another round of this readathon because it allows me to focus on reading the series I'm in the middle of. I need to get this number back down. I did so good with it in like 2023, and I sort of fell off that last year. I did okay last year, but I need to do better. So the focus for this one is spring cleaning, and they have this whole blueprint of the house, and you can try to like focus on one specific room. You can try to do the whole house. I'm a crazy person, so naturally I do have a very light plan for the whole house. Do I think that'll happen? No. In fact, I have such little faith in myself for reading this week that I don't think I'm going to give you guys my set TBR. I talked about it in my May TBR, so if you are intrigued for possibilities, go watch that over there. I think I'm just going to try and roll with the punches this week. So starting at the top, I'm actually going to be continuing on with the book that I started months ago and have still yet to finish. So that is Somewhere Beyond the Sea by TJ Klune. This is the second in his House on the Cerulean Sea series. Very, very unnecessary sequel in my opinion thus far. It is super wholesome and cute. It's very similar family feel vibes as the first book. And while it does bring a smile to my face, the plot of the story is really doing anything special here. But we are once again following Arthur and Linus from the first book. This one is specifically seeing through Arthur's eyes, and he is attempting to make change for this government entity that helps, I'll put that in quotes, magical children. But along with that, he and Linus have also just taken in another magical child who is a Yeti, and he is David, and he's a little actor. He's adorable. I've just hit the point now where David has returned to the island with Arthur and Linus and is getting to meet the rest of the kids. Very, very happy-go-lucky, feel-good feels. Every once in a while, there's a bit of levity that reminds you of some of the sadder, heavier things that are going on in this world, which inspired Klune to write this sequel. I do also have the audio, so my goal, I think, is to try and read my books both physically and audibly if I can, so I can try to work through them a little bit faster, and then maybe that'll help me get a few more books in this week. I honestly don't know. We'll find out together. We'll see how this goes. But that's it for right now. I have been doing a little bit of filming. I need to start into some editing and some cleaning up around the house. So, plus I have a meeting for the nonprofit I help out with at 2. So I got a busy day. Busy day. Hey y'all, happy Monday. So we actually have some good news reading updates. We may have some not so good news as well, but we'll get there. My boss was out of town today, so thankfully it was a fairly low-key day with a lot of busy work, meaning I had tons of audiobook time. So I was able to officially finish out Somewhere Beyond the Sea by TJ Klune. My feelings on this didn't really change too much from when I last talked to y'all. I still don't really think this book was necessary. That said, it does give a lot of the same feels as the first one. Happy-go-lucky, whimsical, wholesomeness, found family vibes. I do think the found family element is a lot stronger this time around, and then you can tell throughout the story, but also with the acknowledgement that Klune was very much inspired by the amount of hate a certain author puts into the world, so he was trying to do the opposite of that. As far as the actual plot goes, there's an aspect of how the story rounds out that reminds me very much of a certain X-Men arc, the one around Genosha, if you're a comic book fan. It left me with questions. It left me with curiosities as to like how would this work in the long run? Because it doesn't really make sense. Along with that, there's also a very like Deus Ex Machina thing that happens that is one of those where it's like, this seems very convenient. Yeah, I do think there are little moments here and there that Klune could probably point to as laying the groundwork for that, but it also kind of feels like a stretch to say so. So I finished this. I liked it. It was cute. I don't think it quite hit the mark of the magic the first one had for me, but I mean, I still had a good time with it. This ended up completing doing a sequel to a 5-star, as well as finish the series you're closest to finishing. Seeing as how I was already a fair amount into this, and I just had like that last section of the book to read, I figure, yeah, I'm pretty close to finishing the series. So that is book 1 and series 1 down. After that, I went back and forth on what I wanted to start next. I thought about going with my romance audiobook, but I have an arc which I need to read, and that is also a romance book. And I try not to read multiple books of the same genre at the same time, just because I don't want to get them confused. So I think what I will start next on my ebook is Along Came a More by Alexis Daria, which is the 3rd in the Primos of Power series. As I said, I have an arc of this one, so I need to get it read this month anyway, meaning I wanted to start something else on audio. And it's kind of ironic, you know, I said yesterday I wanted to try and pick books where I could read them both physically and audibly so I could get through them faster, and I'm like already breaking that rule because I attempted to start into the audiobook of Where the Library Hides by Isabel Ibanez. I say attempted because this did not start on a good foot. I read the first book in this series and I loved the first like 150-ish pages, but after that it went downhill pretty quickly for me. I just had so many issues with inconsistencies in the character, conveniences as far as the plot went, and then just the romance started to get very, very YA and eye-rolly, and it feels that way even more so here. I actually like actively blocked out the cliffhanger in the first book because I remember thinking it was so stupid. This book literally picks up right where that book closes, and I got a punch in the face of a reminder that was how dumb this cliffhanger was. Yes, I can see why the characters think this is a good idea. It also is a terrible idea because of like what we've seen these characters go through already together. And as the main character is so frustrating because on one hand, she starts in the first book as very headstrong, pretty smart, great head on her shoulders, good situational awareness. Like she figured out how to get to Egypt all by herself in the 1800s without any drama around society. And like that is so impressive. Then as that book unfolded, she started to make worse and worse decisions without thinking anything through. And I'm already seeing that she's going to continue that here. And I just don't want it. I don't want any part of it. The romance element is also frustrating because the setup of it being very reminiscent of Rick and Evie from The Mummy, one of my favorite movies, right up my alley. But these two dumbass kids are truly being dumbass kids. And the voice for these characters just doesn't match the age that we're told they are. And especially given what we watched them experience in the first book, they feel so young here already that I'm having cognitive dissonance around remembering that like these are the same characters that went through some of this like really crazy traumatic stuff in the first book. And then there was a certain mention of a certain something that like, oh God, it's really hard to talk about this without spoilers, that makes sense for the historical time period. But given the fact that these characters are reading like 14-year-olds, it made me so uncomfortable that I like immediately had to turn off the audio. I'm now considering maybe trying to read this physically so that I can skim it. Both books in the series that I own are autographed. I want to love these, but I just don't think it's gonna happen. I gave myself a 3 strikes you're out situation where if I cringe, like seriously physically react to something in the story 3 times, I'm allowed to DNF it. I'm allowed to give up. We are 50 pages in and I am already at 2. Yeah, the secondhand embarrassment, man. There are certain times where I can push through it. There are other times where it really, really gets to me. And this is really, really getting to me so far. I think it's also worsened by the fact that like this audiobook is 14 hours long. I mean, this book is pushing 400 pages and I can already tell you it does not need to be that long. I will report back to y'all on how this ends up going, but right now I need to do some more filming. I also am actually doing a read along of Dracula, and so tonight I need to work on the next set of pages, meaning when it comes to my focus for reading the rest of the night, it's gonna be on this. We'll see what else I manage to get read. I'm hoping to at least start into Along Came a More. I guess Nat of tomorrow will let y'all know how this goes. friends. Happy Wednesday. I meant to update yesterday. First, I was planning to film an update in the morning, but I overslept. So I didn't get to work early enough to film a car update. And then I was like, it's fine. I'll just film an update when I get home tonight. But I ended up leaving work late, so then I got to my brother's late. I honestly did not stay super late at my brother's, but by the time I got home, I was so tired. Updates did not happen on Tuesday. I just kind of had a hectic work day overall. And then, like I said, I went over to my brother's. We ended up watching the new Star Wars Tales of the Underground, which was so funny because part of that literally continues on after the most recent Star Wars book I read. So that was freaking perfect. Can't believe that worked out so well. As far as reading updates go, so I did attempt to read some more of Where the Library Hides yesterday morning. I got about 15 more pages in and it just continued to be so cringy. I think it's the fact that like I want to be invested in the relationship between these characters. The voice the author is giving them does not match the ages they're supposed to be. We're told they're like 18, 19, which means when more mature topics are coming up, I don't want to be reading about this from someone who sounds like they're 14. There's a situation here where it's like, if you cannot say sex, you should not be having sex. And then not long after, we have this like grand romance thing. Whit promptly stabs her in the back. I know he is the in-game hero. I don't know why you would have your hero do something so heinous and terrible to her. I cannot see him coming back from this, especially given the fact everything you've showcased to him so far already makes him feel like he's supposed to be like slightly morally gray. But like this is terrible. Like that was bad. That's not morally gray. Like that he's just a bright old red flag. So I officially gave up on this. No. Unfortunately, I had also started into the ebook of Along Came a Moor, which is a romance, obviously. And I am really liking that one, actually. So far, it's been going pretty well. I'm not 100% sold on like the logic of these characters, bearing their souls so quickly to somebody they just met. But I also kind of get, each of them are thinking like, it's a one-night stand. Like, I'm never going to see this person again. I'll tell them whatever I feel like, whatever they ask about. Why not? However, the next audiobook I had lined up was another romance book. And I don't really like reading two of the same genre at the same time because I don't want to mix them up. And I'm kind of already doing that anyway with romances since I had put Emily Henry's newest book on pause for this reading vlog. So I was kind of in a pickle. I didn't know what I wanted to pick up next. So I was talking to Shay. She recently made an official booktube channel, so I'll put a link to that in the cards. You should definitely go follow her. I love her so much. And she tossed out, just send me your options and I'll pick one for you. So she ended up actually picking for me A Restless Truth by Freya Marske, which this was one that like was in the back of my head as a possibility, but I really didn't have it on an official TBR. It is the next book in the Last Binding series, which I read the first one earlier this year for my Valentine's Day Raid My Shelves and loved it. This one is following Robin from the first book's sister Maud, and she is trying to help out with this magical mystery that's going on. So she had traveled to America to speak with a magician woman who has a very powerful artifact, and they're traveling by steamship back to Britain. And at the start of the book, she ends up finding this woman's body. So she's determined to figure out what happened, ends up running into calling him a friend is a very strong word, but a character that Edwin and Robin interacted with in the first book and sort of ropes him into helping her. And along the way also meets Violet, who is a magician as well that actually performs as a stage magician, even though she utilizes actual magic. She's just not particularly powerful with said magic. And Violet is our other main character. She has recently come into a lot of money and is finally like just letting her hair down, refuses to live by these society standards that England has pushed upon her. And so she's like, you know what? I'm just gonna have as much fun as I want, throw as many scandals as I can, because it doesn't matter. Like, I'm super rich. Nobody can touch me now. I love that for her. But it's very clear she has created this like protective shell around herself. However, she becomes fascinated with Maud and also thinks, getting involved in this mystery sounds like a good time. So they're trying to find the perpetrator as well as this magical artifact thing. And I read about 60% of this book yesterday. I'm loving it. I am loving it so much. I have already gone on Pango to officially buy a copy because thankfully by finishing this book, I completed a bingo on my bingo board TBR, meaning I could buy a book. At one point, we also end up getting the help of another man on the ship, Alan, who is a thief, a journalist, and a smut writer. That has led to some real fun, I will tell you. And I believe the third book is actually supposed to be between Alan and then Jack, the kind of friend to Edwin and Robin from the first book, and like that has me very intrigued because they're very polar opposites when it comes to classes. Their personalities are kind of similar, and so I've been having a lot of fun anytime they interact as well. I'm very excited to see what will come with their romance, but also just like I'm so invested in the mystery too. So much freaking fun. Had a little bit of steam and spice with Maud and Violet. That was definitely very good. Yeah, so I'm gonna continue working on that one today, and then also anytime I have actual like eyeball reading time, I'll try to continue reading 𝗖cie_희𝘁 because, as I said, I am enjoying that one too. But I didn't talk to y'all yesterday, so I figured I should actually film an update for today.
Good morning, friends. Happy Thursday. I once again forgot to update last night, but had a pretty good day overall. My mom ended up swinging by and we went and got lunch, which was fun. I managed to continue listening to a little bit more of A Restless Truth, but work was a bit busier, and I am continuing to really enjoy it. And then last night I FaceTimed with my friends, so that was fun, but also took away from my reading time a little bit. And now I'm probably about 75% into A Restless Truth, and y'all, I am loving this. It is so good. The dynamic between Violet and Maud is phenomenal. The way they're like slowly getting to know each other better, pretty immediately they have this great dynamic and they just play off each other very well. They have such good banter, but now it like actually feels as though they're getting to know each other and improving their relationship. They still have no such label on their relationship. I'm loving it. I love the layers that are being peeled back for both of the characters to better understand each of them, their backgrounds, their fears, what makes them them. All of that stuff feels so well presented, and it just keeps like building on the characters that Marsk has established so far. The steam in this is freaking steamy. Oh my, that's some really good shit, y'all. But also I'm just very, very invested in the fantastical mystery at this point. Like I'm really debating just writing this wave and going straight into the third book after I finish this one because I'm having such a good time with it. It's so good. I also really loved, there was this great moment with a older female character, because again, this is a historical setting. She reminisces about her relationship with her best friend and how, because of their society, they could not be together and they never officially took the jump, but like there was just this constant longing and companionship that they had their entire lives. And oh, like the emotion in that moment, and then how that carried over into Maud and Violet thinking about their relationship so far was so good. This series does not get enough love. It is so good. I read like a chapter more of 𝗖cie_희𝘁 last night before I went to bed. Gets steamy pretty quickly, which makes sense given the fact that like the setup is a one-night stand to, you know, not a one-night stand. And that was fun. I am already a little worried that I'm not going to love Ava's character because she's wanting to reinvent herself and keeps saying like she wants to be this new Ava. Just the personality she has in general, not my favorite kind of character. There's going to be elements of her character I know are going to frustrate me. I already can see it coming. But overall though, feel like we're doing pretty well. I really need to focus on 𝗖cie_희𝘁, so I didn't bring any physical books with me today. I think I'm going to try and read that on my lunch break, and then I am going to continue listening to A Restless Truth as much as I can today during work. As I said, if I finish this, there's a very, very strong chance I'm just going to flow right into the next one, which I think is a Power Bound. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I just figured I would give y'all a little bit of an update. Josh and I have an author event tonight, actually, and it is one of Josh's. He picked this. It is for the third volume of 𝗖cie_희𝘁, which is a webtoon turned graphic novel. There's like a specific term for that, but I don't remember what it's called. So we're going to be going to that tonight, and that'll be fun. We'll probably just end up getting dinner at that mall, probably. Good morning, friends. Happy Friday. So unsurprisingly, I did not update y'all last night after the author event because Josh and I were there pretty late, and by the time we got home, we just wanted food and to relax. Also, I really hope my mic is not picking up how freaking loud my computer is this morning. I'm exporting a video. It sounds like my computer is trying to take off. But yeah, so we went to the author event last night and it was a lot of fun. I hung out, waited in line, got to meet her. She was super sweet, and she did little doodles in each of Josh's books, which was really cute. While I was working yesterday, I did go ahead and finish out A Restless Truth, and I really loved it, honestly. I thought Maud and Violet were so much fun. I loved getting to meet Jack and Alan, and like I said, it made me so thirsty for their story, and now that I've started into it, I just love this vicious banter they have. It is like they can be so mean to each other. If these characters weren't able to volley it back and forth so well, I would hate it. I wouldn't enjoy it nearly as much. It would feel too close to bullying. Marsk like isn't doing it that way. They have certain expectations of the other character and certain assumptions. So they read the character in this way. Same as the last two books. Like we're just peeling back the layers slowly so the opposite character can get to know them and understand like they're not actually this person you seem to think they are. It's so good. I mean, Freya Marsk really does kill it at character work, and like I now need to read everything else she has read. I have to, because I'm having such a good time with the series. The fantastical mystery as well, like the stakes are really amped up here. And so I am super sucked in. Like I want to keep reading. It was really hard for me to stop the audiobook yesterday when I got home to get ready to go to that event. Like I just wanted to keep listening. For lunch while we were waiting in line, and then last night I did read some more into Along Came a More. I think I'm about 25% done now, actually. Okay, so I thought this was like a one night stand and then, you know, they run into each other. No, this is more like a friends with benefits situation that very much is Ava like trying to keep her distance and put down boundaries. Like she wants to have this fun, and she feels like she can be more honest with Roman because he is so removed from the rest of her life, which I follow the logic there. I see what the author is presenting. I don't love the friends with benefits thing, I'll be honest, though the spice is definitely spicing. And now we're finally starting to see like how these two are going to interact, because Roman is friends with the hero character from the first book, and that couple is in the process of getting married, and Ava is the maid of honor. Obviously, as we get closer to the wedding, hijinks are going to ensue, and they're going to find out they're not nearly as removed from one another's circles as they've thought they are. And I am excited for the drama that's going to bring, but I'm also nervous because Ava has this really complicated relationship with her family where we've seen it in the prior books that all of the Primas have a complicated relationship with their grandmother, and how she really kind of has almost made them like compete in their lives to win her approval. And Ava's always been like the favorite, but then she got her divorce and now it's like dropped her. But because of that, like she is such a people person. She is such a people pleaser. She's really sensitive and just like is not willing to stand up for herself and talk out for herself. She just kind of muscles her way through and takes it. And obviously, like I'm hoping eventually she'll snap. If she doesn't, I'm gonna be really bummed. So like I said, it's getting set up for so much drama, and I'm very here for that. I'm just nervous about it getting frustrating to me instead of being fun. Wow, you are snoring so loud. Roman kind of has some personal stuff going on as well to like further his character. Basically, he ended up taking on the major male role in his family's life after his stepfather's passing. And now his sister is basically about to go off to college. His mom is wanting to move and get her own place. He's like realizing he's going to be a 40-year-old man and an empty nester. It is very amusing, honestly, but it's sweet to see that he cares so much about his family. And with that is one issue I am already foreseeing. Roman feels too perfect. I realize this is a romance book and it is not supposed to be 100% realistic, but two perfect heroes, I don't know, they just bore me. So I feel like I'm gonna need some sort of an issue with him. I'm gonna need him to have some kind of like actual baggage. This baggage doesn't even seem like it's actually serious baggage. But yeah, so doing pretty good so far. I'm working from home today. I am hoping I will get to continue listening to A Power Unbound because, like I said, I was freaking loving it yesterday and I want to keep reading. I actually went to check if they had a copy of it at the Barnes & Noble we were at yesterday, and unfortunately it was only in paperback, and I've now bought the first two in hardcover. I used to not care about this stuff, and look at me now. And even more sad is the fact that there are no copies available at all on Pango except for like the Illumicrate special editions, which are part of the series. So those are like $200 and I'm not buying that.
Hey y'all, so apparently I just don't vlog on weekends anymore because it's Monday, but I need to officially round out this reading vlog. And though I did not unfortunately finish another book, I did make a good dent into A Power Unbound by Freya Marske on Friday. I am loving this. I'm having so much fun with the dynamic of the two main characters in this one, Jack and Alan. I also just really love the little found family that we're following. Overall, I love getting to see more of these characters, their relationships after things have kind of normalized a little bit for them, for Maud and Violet, and also Robin and Edwin, where these couples are very settled into their relationships, into this dynamic. And I love seeing that, seeing them just, you know, having the time to be happy together. Even if they're not the main focus of this book, I'm still really enjoying it. The mystery, I'm so sucked in. This has already had a good few twists and turns that just like are keeping me on the edge of my seat. Every time I continue reading this, I'm just so engaged. And y'all, the spice in this? If you got a roleplay kink, this right here, I'm gonna recommend this one for you. Then I also have actually just hit about the halfway point into Along Came a Moor, and I'm enjoying this one a lot as well. Any issues I am having are pretty much the same as before. I still just feel like Ava is too obsessed with how her family perceives her and like what their view of her is, so much so to her own detriment, and she realizes this is not healthy, but like isn't really doing anything to change it. And that's the element that drives me insane, is she knows this isn't right. She should not be living her life this way, but she won't stop. She won't put into place any changes. In terms of realism, like I totally get it. This would be a really hard thing to change about yourself, but it is so frustrating. It is so frustrating to read. On the opposite side with Roman, I said before I was a little worried that like he was too perfect. We finally have actually had some issues with him that I really appreciated how Daria handled them. It's all about the perspective of what he is doing, where in his mind this is normal, this is right, this like what he is doing is helpful. He thinks this is the best course of action. But in Ava's eyes, what he is doing is steamrolling over her. He is not taking her thoughts, her opinions into account. He's doing what he thinks is right. And that's because for him, the thing to make the people around him happy is to take care of the situation. Like he needs to be the one to handle it so that they don't have to worry about it. Whereas Ava wants that freedom, that ability to handle the situation, because in all of her other relationships, she doesn't have that. She does not have that autonomy. She does what everybody else wants. And so I really enjoyed how Daria ended up utilizing that to, again, add some realism to Roman's character, to make him seem not quite so perfect. And so I am really liking it. The spice also definitely spicing so good. I guess I'm just on a really solid romance kick right now, thank God. And we finally hit the point where these two realize they're both involved in this wedding, and that apparently their circles are closer than either of them realized. Ava is not particularly happy about this, because part of why she really enjoyed this arrangement was that Roman was so separate from her family. Turns out he's not. So that has been a lot of fun, and I've really been enjoying it. So technically, I did finish out 2 books in this video, technically speaking. Oh no, 3, because I did have a DNF. I've finished 1 series, and then I've nearly finished 2 other series, and then DNF'd a 3rd. So honestly, I wish this would have gone a little bit better, but overall, I am not mad. This was a really solid Squash That series. I mean, it caught me up on a few of them. I'm so glad I took the time to do this, because again, this just kind of allowed me to focus on series for a little bit, and I need to do that every once in a while. All right, y'all, so that is it for today. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. I really appreciate it. Make sure to hit like and subscribe down below. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, leave me a plain emoji in the comments. I have links to all of my socials, including my Patreon, in the description down below if you're interested in following me on something. I come out with videos on Monday and Friday, but until then, I hope that you continue to have a terrific day. Love you, bye!